Hey, and welcome. I don't know why I'm so formal. My name is Mark, and I am an artist, specifically an animator, illustrator, a character designer, and writer. And this is a little series that I've just started that I've been just calling REDRAW, where I've been taking old drawings of mine and redrawing them. Specifically, in this case, I have about 30 different original Robot Master drawings that I did as a kid from the Mega Man series. And this is just a little side project that I started, and I thought it would be cool to pretty much just redraw them many years later and, compare and contrast and, just as a fun little exercise, and try to make these guys look like they could belong in an actual game. Sort of. So last time I was drawing Gear Man, and I think I said this before in that video, but I'm sure you're probably going to see the original drawing in this video at some point, probably alongside this new time lapse of this new drawing. And I'm doing these all in order of when I drew them. So the first one was Gear Man. Now this one is Jet Man. And Gear Man, I kind of completely just overhauled the design to try to make him fit more in line with a traditional Mega Man style, while trying to, keep some aspects of how I originally drew him. But I was basically kind of adapting this like Tin Man, old steampunk look. Whereas with this guy, even in the original drawing, I guess I was feeling like I wanted to do the complete opposite. So this guy looks more like a futuristic, like Power Ranger kind of guy. So in contrast with the previous one, he's definitely sleeker. He's more modern looking, shinier, and his name is Jetman, so he's got a lot of jets. Nothing really too complicated about that. But the original design that I had for him, he was basically like covered head to toe and went a little bit more true to how I originally made him look. But I wanted to obviously update him, make get him a cool new pose and all that. And one of the cool things that I definitely wanted to keep was his helmet and like this cool visor, this black visor that he's just always wearing, which is a little more like looks more like a motorcycle helmet, at least in the original drawing, now that I'm looking at it. But I tried to update it to make it look, I guess, more like a like the front window of a plane. I don't know what they call that. And in general, I just wanted him. I think I wanted to give him like airplane attributes. There is actually a Jetman already, but that was in the fan game Mega Man Unlimited, which is great. It's a really good game. And in that game, Jetman, that Jetman looks a little more. It's a literal. They took it a little more literally. So they made a guy that looks like a jet, and he's even got like wheels, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I played that game, but so my guy, I kind of wanted to give him like jet attributes. I wanted to give him, like an allude to like a sleek fighter jet or something, but he's still like man, if that makes any sense. So that's pretty much what I was going with here, and I think that I honestly I like this. I should also say, with this series, there are a couple points, including this one, where I created characters that actually do exist in other games, and in that case, I'm likely, when I get up to those characters, I'm just gonna change the name, and give them a different name from what they were given originally. But this guy was an exception because I'm not gonna include like fan games. Just if I have a character that has coincidentally the same name as another one in an actual, like not an actual, but in an official game, then I'll change it. But in this case, I just kept it. So this is my own Jetman, and as you can see, his whole spiel kind of similar to Gearman. I kind of wanted to make them like dual characters, like two sides of the same coin. I've noticed that in some games, like in 2, you had like Quickman and Flashman, and one stopped time and the other one was like really fast, and they, Flashman was blue, which contrasted with Quickman as red and yellow, all the warm colors. And I feel like they kind of did that with some games, not all of them, but like they had like sort of these subtly related bosses that didn't have any like story purpose, but they're just conceptually and design wise they were like kind of related in some way, or two sides of the same coin, like what I just mentioned. So that's kind of what I wanted to do with this guy. And so he's compared to Gearman, he's very futuristic. He's like top of the line kind of robot. He's very mobile. He's got 4 exhausts on each limb, and kind of similar to Gearman. He, his big attribute, which is his jet engines, are his limbs. So, he's got no hands, but he doesn't need them because he just flies around everywhere. So, with Gearman, I definitely think I had like a pretty clear purpose, for what I wanted him to be, like contextually, like if he were to exist in the Mega Man universe. Whereas with Jetman, it's a little hard. I kind of, and it's only gonna get harder because some characters get really abstract. But for this guy, I just assume he would be maybe part of like some sort of Sky Patrol or something. I don't know. Maybe Sky Police. I don't know. Something like that. Or maybe he is a sort of like plane engineer or something, or like guides. Maybe he could be like like a navigator. He could be like making sure that planes don't collide or something, even though they have people who do that. But I don't know, this is the future, and in this universe they got robots doing everything. So I imagine he's always in the sky and patrolling the skies, making sure no funny business is going on or anything. And that, I feel like, is a slightly lamer and broader purpose to give this guy, especially considering I feel like Gearman had a little bit more of a defined purpose, but it's okay. The main thing is that I'm just really drawing these guys and trying to see how much I've improved over the years, and how much I think and draw differently, and how I interpret things differently. And another thing I also mentioned in the last video was that I don't like to go back to old drawings that much. That ended up being a complete lie, because as soon as I started doing this, I just got completely sucked into digging up old drawings, and some of them I've been reinterpreting them. A lot of them are like original characters, not like fan art. But you know what? I thought it's good to look back and redraw and reinterpret from time to time, because those things can, those ideas that you left behind or forgot about can really help with drawing in the present. And you know, some ideas you came up with and forgot about, or thought were irrelevant, might suddenly become very irrelevant, or very even more irrelevant. Might become even more, or I'm getting my words mixed up. They might get relevant is what I'm saying. They might become relevant. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing here. I'll say this. I've got 30 of these guys to go, and I don't know how much I'm going to be able to talk about. Unless I speed up the footage even more, which I could do. I thought I sped it up pretty well, to really cut down on, you know, just dead air, because I have so many long pauses, and I'm not really trying to edit this commentary too much. I'm just trying to kind of wing it in a sense, which you might call that lazy. I also call it lazy. But yeah, no, I kind of, you know, production on these I don't plan on making them insanely crazy quality, you know, mainly because you know, I still want to focus on the other stuff that I'm doing, and this is just a side project that I've been wanting to do for a while, and you know, experiment with. This is a little experiment for me and my YouTube channel, which I always keep telling myself I'm going to be using more. And you know, I never I never go through on those promises. Well, I mean, you know, I do, because I do want animation to be a part of my channel and original animations, but they just take so much time, and I think there could be other ways to provide art on this YouTube channel, like so many other artists do, and I just think it could be fun anyway. So yeah, and so you could probably see a couple times I'm really experimenting with the color of this guy. Like originally I was having him be blue and yellow and white and blue and all that crap. I eventually settled on white with and then accenting his black, accenting his like arms and legs, his forearms and legs, with black, along with his, just to match his visor, and kind of proportion that shade equally. He's got a very simple color palette, but again, I think that fits for the sleeker, more minimalistic approach that I was going for here. And you know, like, I think white, you know, is pretty commonly associated with airplanes anyway, so I think it fits. Even though it does look a little bland at first, but you know, I think it comes together in the end. I will say I'm a few drawings in at this point, and this is definitely one that I like a lot. I think I liked and ended up liking this guy a little more than Gearman in terms of like how he came out and just how he looks overall. And I'm gonna get a little funkier with the poses too. You'll see that. So yeah, I like how this guy came out and is coming out. So I'm kind of toying with the idea, depending on how I feel and how exhausted I am after getting this done, which in and of itself will probably take me a while. I'm thinking about possibly, maybe making this into a thing. I don't have any like other Robot Masters or Mega Man characters or really original characters from other video games. I didn't really do that too much as a kid. It would usually just be like I would draw already existing characters, or I would just make up my own characters for my own original thing. It was kind of one or the other. I would never make like OCs for in existing property. That was just something I never did as a kid. So this is pretty much it. But I'm thinking, depending on how I feel and how this ends up going, if I'm feeling ballsy enough, maybe I could do something where I could tackle like the Mega Man X series and make like 8 original Maverick bosses and do that. That could be a thing. I also had, this is a bit more of a loftier idea of like possibly, and this would be like a huge undertaking, so I have no idea if I would even go through with it, but possibly like doing a video on developing a pitch packet for a hypothetical video game. Like I've had ideas for Zelda, Mega Man, Castlevania, something like that. I don't know. I feel like we'll see. These are just ideas. I have no idea if I'm gonna go through with this. I don't know if this will stick on for me. I think they could be cool ideas, but I also do know that especially with the pitch packet idea, I know for a fact how laboring that could be, which is, I don't think I would mind it, but I guess I have to figure out my priorities first, and because I'm still working on original animations, among other things at the moment, but we'll see. I think it's stuff that could be, possibly very cool or kind of cool or whatever. And I have some experience with making pitch Bibles and developing stuff like that for original shows and concepts. So I thought maybe that could be something that I could exercise that skill and also grow from doing it more by making videos about that and stuff. I just hope, like, my only fear is that I just hope those videos wouldn't get claimed or anything because I'm using pitch Bibles based on pre-existing properties and stuff like that. I don't know, but that's something I don't really see too much on YouTube. A little bit, but it could be interesting to go down that rabbit hole at some point. But like I said, just kind of couple steps at a time, and I'm just kind of rambling at this point. And you can see with Jetman here, I'm getting pretty dramatic with the lighting and all that, and yeah, because the main focus, kind of like with Gearman and his giant cogs, his very impractical cogs. Gear or Jetman's whole thing is just him flying, and I think I wanted that to be the focus. So I think the fire from the jets contrasts well enough with the cooler tones on the rest of it. I mean, it's mostly white, but the cooler blues and the black as well. You have these bright reds and yellows all over. I'm getting kind of preachy here. This is kind of like getting to be a whole like, oh, like the colors here are quite contrasting well with the others. I say I say this as I'm drawing a Mega Man character, with varying results. But yeah, I have no idea how people will react to this. At the time of this, I haven't even uploaded the first one yet. I'm just kind of sitting on this and these because, I'm a little bit of a wuss, and I don't, I still have a little anxiety of putting myself out there in that sense. It's one thing to post like a drawing or an animation, on the internet for people to see, and just having your name attached to it, because it's one thing to just have your name attached to something, but when people actually hear your voice and they hear you speak and they actually get a sense of the kind of person you are, well, that can be terrifying. Just absolutely horrific, at least for me, but I'm a huge worrywart. So yeah, hopefully I don't sound too annoying or whatever. Yeah. So I think we're getting close to the end here. I'm doing all my my nitpicky little shading things. This is just me being stupid and very non-time efficient, but I think the extra elbow grease, I don't know why I said elbow grease, that makes it sound gross. I think the extra effort went a long way, and I will also say this, even though I've said before that I want to try to make these designs look uniform, I'm already starting to see a bit of a change in art style, and this is where it kind of starts, where I start messing around with some of the texture on the shading. I didn't really do that too much with Gearman. Like, he was kind of just like blocked in with shading, while here he's got like, the shading, the shapes from the shadows are like kind of going in and out, they're waving, and I was trying to sort of just make it look more dramatic, because the light sources are these blasts of fire coming from this guy's arms and legs. So I just want to make it look cool. I mean, that's really all an artist can do at the end of the day, is just make something look cool as best as they can. So that's what I wanted to do. I want to make this guy look cool. I want to make them all look cool. But I also want to make them look kind of goofy, because a lot of them are very goofy, and I like that about Mega Man. It doesn't take itself, well, at least the classic series doesn't take itself too seriously. It gets more serious later on, but the characters are still like these like cartoony plush looking things, so it's a little funny to see them, these cute like anime characters, talk about like, you know, politics in that could allude to real world issues. I'm looking at you, Mega Man Zero. But yeah, you know, I kind of, most importantly, just wanted to retain the essence of, you know, the colorful, fun, wacky designs that come from this series. So yeah, you know, I think a part of the reason why I'm doing this too is because I just want a new Mega Man game. Like, there's just like nothing for for Mega Man lately. I mean, recently there was that secret level show, which I did watch that episode, and it was way too short. So that was a little disappointing. Man, it feels like Mega Man fans, we just get fed like breadcrumbs, and it's just so disheartening, just so upsetting. So I don't know. I think a part of this was kind of catharsis for me, just to provide my own Mega Man fix in some way. It's like, they won't make a new game, I'll do it. Here's these characters. I'm sure if they made a new game, they would come up with much better ideas. But that being said, in a way, maybe it's better to leave it as it is. I mean, there's so many games in the series, and there are a lot of bad ones, and I guess I would just hate for the series to just turn in. I know about that game, Corrupted, which has been in development for like years now, and yeah, I mean, even fan games, like they just take forever. I mean, it's fine. I'd rather it take forever than just like, you know, have it be like a rush job. But it's like, I want it. Give it to me. I need something. So yeah, that kind of rambling aside, I'm getting close to the end here, doing all the finishing touches, as you can see, and there's probably going to be a running trend that you're going to see me flip back and forth between Photoshop files for other characters, just to, you know, copy and paste certain layers and stuff like that, to try to maintain some kind of consistency, at least with the lighting. So yeah, and I'm just adding some texture as well, which was something that I do more and more with each character that I draw for this little series, which is part of the reason why I said the designs kind of veer off from what I originally started with, and especially with the rim lighting here. But you know, at this point I'm kind of just like, I just want to make them look cool if I can, and yeah, that's it. So anyway, I think I'll just let the rest of this play out. You'll see the end result, you know. And again, this one didn't end up looking too different from the original. Kind of just updated, and you know, with some slight differences and all that. But I think you know, I did a decent job here. It looks okay. It looks acceptable in my book. A good maybe I won't give myself a grade. You know, I'm done bashing myself. Nobody likes hearing about that. You know, it's good to be modest, but you know, you also shouldn't downplay yourself. So, you know, overall, I think this one was a pretty good success. So I'll leave it at that. And yeah, so I'll catch you on the next one, hopefully. The next of many more to come. So yeah, be well and keep drawing. See you later. Bye bye.